Yes.
Okay. You cannot
So-
solicit or panhandle within the building. Okay? We do
Solicit-
have regulations against that,
Yeah.
and there's admin codes against it.
Okay.
So I need you to go outside.
Okay. Do you have a sergeant or a supervisor?
We do.
Can I talk to him?
I can call him for you. What's
Thank
your
you.
name?
My name is. Doesn't matter. I just want to ask him his opinion.
Well, he's going to tell you the same thing.
Okay. I would like to hear it.
Well, what can I address you as then?
Just as a citizen, concerned citizen.
27. When
And
you're
you-
asking people for money and to buy things within the building, it's-
No, I'm not. No, I'm not asking people to buy things.
you just
So,
did.
no, but I no. So soliciting. There's two forms of
Then explain
soliciting.
what you're doing here.
You just told me what I was doing. You told me I was asking people
Because I
to.
was standing right there. And
Yeah,
and you're-
I didn't ask anybody to buy anything.
Okay, then what are
Yeah.
you asking her then?
Okay,
Do your spiel with me that you just did with her.
okay. Wait, you're moving very quickly. So
10:22
before you
right now.
accuse people of doing things they're not doing, you should ask them, or you should double check. What did you just do, and did you ask someone to buy something?
What you're doing here is you're holding a box.
Yes.
And what is this box?
It's a donation box,
Okay. Donation for what?
a fundraiser.
Okay. What's the fundraiser for?
Okay, now you're asking too many questions. I have a freedom to solicit for donations that are non-profit in any traditional public forum. So that includes the public, the state capitol.
What you're doing is you just admitted that you are soliciting.
Yes,
Correct?
there are two forms of soliciting. One soliciting is for that requires a permit, a seller's permit, and a solicitor's permit. I'm not doing those things. I do not need a solicitor's permit or a seller's permit as long as I'm not asking for money for goods or services. So anywhere you're
But
in,
you are by that.
no, this is not for goods or
Then
services.
what is it
It's a
for?
fundraiser without profit.
What's the
So
fundraiser
it doesn't matter as long as you're not asking people for good money in exchange for goods or services. You have the freedom
But you're asking people to make donations.
for something that's
form of
not.
solicitation.
There's, I just told you, there are
Are
two
you asking
forms.
for money?
Yes,
Okay. It's a form of solicitation.
yes,
So you're
but
asking
it's
for
not
money.
for goods or services.
Then what's it for?
For non-goods, non-services. That's all
What
you
is
need to
it
know.
for?
That's all you need to know. That's
If
all
you're
you
doing
need
it
to
for a
know.
nonprofit, then you should have no reason to explain what you're doing and why you're
There's no
collecting the
reason
money.
not to explain that. You're right.
You should have
but
no
I
reason
feel
not
like
to.
if you really wanted to know, you could have just asked.
And
You
that's
didn't
what I'm
have
doing.
to accuse you. But no, you
No,
accused me
but
of
what you
doing
did,
something
you asked
illegal.
her- did you or did you
Yeah,
not ask
yes.
her to make a donation
Yes,
in a money
for-
format, correct?
Yes.
And then you walked away.
But you didn't.
But
you didn't
did not
read the rest of the
explain
law.
anything.
You didn't read the rest of the
It's
law.
not about
You didn't give
reading
me
the
a
law.
chance.
Because I
and if
asked you.
You didn't give me a chance, or
I
the
asked
lady
you based
didn't
on-
ask.
Hold on.
Okay.
I asked you based on what you said,
Yeah.
and then you turned around. You did not explain. For
No, I didn't
nonprofit.
do that. I told you I'm going to go
Did
prove.
you- but
I'm going to
hold
go
on.
prove I'm allowed
Hold
to
on.
do it.
Did you or did you not explain to her what you did not do? You did not explain that you're here for a nonprofit.
But I
You didn't
asked her
explain it.
if
No,
she
no,
was
hold
interested
on.
in
If
the
you're gonna-
fundraiser.
no, no. If you're going to explain it, you need to explain the entire.
You didn't give me an opportunity, and if the woman was interested, you
turned around
continue.
and walked away, and then
No,
that's when
I
I
told
made
you I
contact.
was going to prove that. And that's
No,
not
no,
what happened.
hold
I
on.
told you I was going to prove that I
Hold
was
on.
allowed to do
But
this.
you did not tell her the entire.
Exactly. If she was
Exactly.
interested,
Hold on.
then
Hold on.
you tell her the details.
Hold on. But
the-
you should announce yourself as a nonprofit from the very beginning, making donations, not soliciting. You're asking for donations. Your terminology and your stuff that you were doing.
No, now you're backtracking.
This is not
I've done this
backtracking.
1,000 times. I've done this all over the
So
state.
you've done this in the building.
I've done it all over the state. It's
So
a
you've done it
tradition.
in the building here.
No, this is the first time I've done it in the building. And it's the same. It's a traditional public forum. It is a traditional public.
But when you are asking for a monetary
yeah.
soliciting
Uh-huh.
donation, okay, and you didn't explain any of that to her.
If
And then
she
when I
had,
a- hold
if she
on,
was interested,
hold on.
I
When
would
I
have
asked
told her
you-
the details of the fundraiser.
But when I asked you,
Yeah.
you turned around and then you came over here and you want to turn on your phone and you want to record me, but you didn't explain any of that prior to your recording, did you?
You didn't
Did
give me
you,
a
sir?
chance.
Sir?
You told me right
I asked
away.
you a
No, you
question.
told me it was illegal. You
Sir?
said you cannot ask
Based
for
on the
donation.
exact thing of what you said.
Okay, well, you didn't give me a chance to explain myself.
No, because you turned around and walked off.
Because I
Did you
needed to
not?
go get my phone so I could record our
Okay.
conversation.
But you turned around and you should have explained that in the beginning.
Not without recording myself.
No, you can explain that in the beginning.
Yeah,
If
but
would
you should.
explain-
If
hold on.
anytime you talk to police officers, you should record your
You don't need
conversation.
to, though.
You should.
Okay, but you should have explained that correctly. And
You
then I
shouldn't have
would
accused me of
discussed
committing a crime that I wasn't committing. You assume that my
based on-
fundraiser, the
based on
purpose of
exact-
my...
No, hold on.
Doesn't matter. You
You're
didn't
using
get the
term-
details.
no,
You
hold
didn't
on a
get the
minute.
details of my
You are
intent.
determining that you said fundraiser. You never said any fundraiser.
That's
to me.
all I have to say.
But you didn't say that.
That's
to
all
me.
I have to say.
But you didn't.
You
say
didn't
that.
ask either.
You're
I
only
told
doing
her
that.
that.
You're doing that now that you're recording.
No.
You did not say that before.
Dude,
You
I've said this
soliciting for
every
money.
time I use this box. Every time I approach somebody, I give the same spiel. And if they're interested, I give them the details of my fundraiser. You didn't
But
wait
you
for the
said nothing.
details.
Hold on. I stood right there and I heard you.
You
say
didn't.
nothing
I did
about
not give the
fundraiser.
details. I did not give the
Should
details.
give the details.
Not
So
unless
then
they're
this type of
interested.
interaction
If they're
would have
not
to take
interested,
place,
if they're
correct?
not interested, there's no point in providing details of the fundraiser if someone's not interested in
Let me
helping
ask you a
you.
question. If you're talking with someone
Uh-huh.
and you're trying to facilitate getting donations, but yet you're asking for soliciting of money, and you explain nothing more. Hold on. You explain nothing more than that exactly.
You wait there. That's where you stop. And if they're interested, you tell them the details of your fundraiser.
Why wouldn't you say that it's a fundraiser?
I did say that. I
Hold on,
walked
hold on,
up to her and
hold
I
on a
said, "Hey, my name is John, and I'm working on a fundraiser."
John, you did not say that.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Then what did I tell her? What else would I say to her?
But you didn't use the word fundraiser.
Yes, I did. This is a fundraiser.
By your
Fundraiser
own-
is
by
written.
your-
It's written on the. Wait, where
By
is
your
it?
own. See, you should know what's on your box. You're
Wait.
having to look at it yourself.
Wait, it should. Well, that's what I said. My name is John, and I'm here working on a fundraiser. Are you
But would
interested?
you not agree that it would
No,
be better
that-
for you
that's
to
what I
say
said.
that I'm working on a fundraiser?
That's exactly what I said.
But that's not what I heard, and that's not what you said.
That is what I said. I don't have to. I don't lie. I approach people the same way. This purpose. There's nothing else for me to say to people besides my name and what I'm doing to get their attention. So I'm here working on a fundraiser, and my name is John.
Okay, but by-
That's
hold
what I
on
did.
now. But by your own account,
Yeah.
all you told me was you were soliciting for money.
That's
That's
not-
what you just
that's-
told me. And then you went over here. Hold on. You went over
You're
here
lying.
to grab your
You're
phone.
lying. Officer, you're lying.
You
And
went
you
over-
just
hold on.
interfered with my freedom of speech to solicit for donations for a
So now
nonprofit.
it's a freedom of speech.
It is. It's a freedom of speech. It's your First Amendment right to
And
solicit
I
for.
didn't stop you from talking to
Yes,
me.
you did. You came over and
No, I
said
did not.
that's illegal.
No, what I told you was soliciting inside this building. Yes.
It's not illegal.
For money?
No, it is not.
Something to
It's
sell?
only illegal if you ask for money in exchange for goods or services.
But that's not what you explained to her.
That's not what she
You're
asked.
But you're explaining that now.
Okay,
Correct.
so officer, you shouldn't approach people unless you know exactly what they did wrong. Before you approach somebody, you should tell them, I know you were wrong and I know what you're doing is legal. That way you don't have to backtrack and lie about their interaction
backtracking.
or
I'm going off based on
apologize
your
and say,
direct
oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you weren't asking for goods or services. I didn't know it was a fundraiser for cause.
You didn't explain that at all.
You didn't give me 10 minutes to this video has been on for 7 minutes. I had 30 seconds to explain myself. This video has taken 7 minutes to talk to you about something I'm freely allowed to do.
I'll call the supervisor for
You call the supervisor, man. You're acting like an idiot right now. You were supposed to do this before you approached me. That is your job, to have gravity, to interfere with someone's freedoms only when you have cause.
I will get you a supervisor, and they will explain it to you. Because based on what you explained to me
Okay,
and what you initially
I swear.
said,
Okay, if you
it's
do
not.
this, I'm going to
So,
sue you.
For getting a supervisor?
No,
You
not
asked
for getting
a
a supervisor, for stopping.
You asked for a
I want a supervisor,
So,
and you interfere with my
I'm
freedom.
not discussing any further with you.
Okay, go for it. You
So
should have
you
called
asked for
them
a
right
supervisor.
away. You should have called the supervisor right away. I asked for him 10 minutes ago. So you are interfering with my freedom.
No, because you asked to explain, so I wanted to hear your explanation.
Okay,
So I will
it
get
shouldn't
you the
take
supervisor-
10
hold on.
minutes.
I will get you the supervisor as you asked.
Okay, you're
Stand by.
wasting my time.
Stand by.
You're being an asshole. You're
You want to
wasting
conduct yourself in vulgar language, that's disorderly conduct within the building, and then you will be escorted out.
freedom of speech. You're being an asshole. And if you write,
Become disruptive. I've explained to you. I will
I'm
get
not
you the
being
supervisor.
disruptive.
Stand by.
I'm going to sue you.
Stand by.
I'm going to sue you. I don't know who you are. I'm going to sue you. Are you going to let him violate my rights?
If you want to explain to me
Okay.
what happened, I don't know, so that's
So
kind of where I'm at.
I was talking to a lady over there, that lady right there. I asked her, hey, my name is John. I'm working on a fundraiser. The officer was standing around the corner. He walked up to me and said, hey, that's illegal. You cannot solicit people for donations in this building. I told him that's only if you are asking for goods and services in exchange for money. So if you do that, you need a seller's permit, you need a solicitor's permit, and then you're soliciting for like a profitable business that the government wants to keep track of.
It sounds like you kind of did your research.
I know what I'm.
Did
Yeah.
you look it up, like, because there are specific rules for this particular building?
It's I did
you
before I
happen to
came.
look that
Yes,
up?
I
'Cause it's,
before.
admin code 2.1.
Yes. So your admin code
Yeah.
can't interfere with free speech laws. So free speech laws protect people, allow people to express themselves. And one way people express themselves is to ask for donations. So as long as you are fundraising for a nonprofit, you don't ask for goods or services in exchange for. There's no intimidation or harassment. You're not bothering people. You have the freedom to walk in the state capitol and ask people because it is a traditional public forum. Still, so you have the freedom to express yourself in a way like asking for donations. So I don't need a seller's permit. I don't need a solicitor's permit. I'm allowed to do it because it's the freedom of speech. And as long as you're not harassing people, intimidating people, you don't lose that freedom. And vulgar language like asshole is protected free speech. So this is a traditional public forum. So you have to disturb the peace. Disturbing the peace is violence, potential for violence, or a true threat. That's the threshold. As long as I'm using it as a part of speech, it's not called disturbing the peace. So that officer, he lied. He just lied multiple times to get me upset, like psychologically harass me to cause an altercation. That's what I think he did. But he lied and he said, I didn't tell the lady I was working on a fundraiser. I don't have anything else to say to her. I have absolutely nothing to say to her besides my name and that I'm here working on a fundraiser and I would like her help. And those are the three things I say to everybody. Everybody I've approached across the state of Wisconsin, I say the same thing when I approach them. My name, and I'm working on a fundraiser. And the officer came up to me and said, no, that's illegal. Soliciting is illegal in this building. You can't do it. And I was like, that's not true. This is a traditional public forum. You have the freedom to express yourself. And one way we express ourselves is by asking for donations.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, this doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like certain types of soliciting
Yeah.
are against the rules here. So I'm guessing there's some kind of confusion going on.
Yeah.
So
He should know the law before he interferes with people's freedoms. That's what you're supposed to have gravity for. You're supposed to wait until you know someone is exercising a freedom they're not allowed to exercise. So he doesn't have any gravity, and he's proven it. He's purposefully trying to harass someone. He at a time when he doesn't know they have a freedom to do something. I have this freedom, and he should have double checked before he stopped me from exercising that freedom.
Do you mind if I look at the admin code quick?
Yeah, and you should look at the law first. So, well, the admin code and the Constitution are going to be matched. They're going to work in unison.
It's passed by the legislature. And
Yeah.
like that, so.
So it's legit.
Okay. So yeah, because 2.05 has personal and commercial solicitation. So
Yeah.
So it says right here, I can show it to you. So, no person or organization may solicit contributions for charitable or nonprofit organizations within the state office buildings and facilities upon the grounds thereof, or within the state capitol park without the express written approval of the department. The department is the Department of Administration.
That is weird.
So
yeah.
You see where that is?
Yeah, that's confusing.
It is confusing because there's a separate one for like panhandling
Yeah.
and soliciting, like prostitution.
Yeah.
Those have the words of coercion. Like,
Yeah.
We have panhandlers outside.
Mm-hmm.
If they are being passive and not threatening, being coercive, we don't really enforce that. The minute somebody threatens somebody or kind of is causing a disruption,
Yeah.
then that could fall into that. But as I'm showing you right
Yeah.
now, there is
Yeah.
the rule against that. So,
that's against the Constitution.
well, you'd have to bring that up.
Yeah, it's legally, this is a traditional public forum, and
As you know, how things exist is basically the government enacts laws or rules,
Yeah.
and then those get challenged.
yeah. So I guess I got to challenge it in court.
So, you could bring it up,
Yeah.
or lobby your.
No, I'm not going to lobby it.
representatives.
It's
Not lobby, but
Yeah.
write them and say,
Yeah.
hey, this exists.
I heard in a lot of places that sometimes people write policies that contradict the Constitution, and they forget or they overlook. It's overlooked that you're supposed to be allowed to do things. So I've heard of it. I don't know if that's. I'm wagering that's the case here, that someone overlooked the law, that this was a traditional public
Can we come
forum.
to an agreement at
Yeah.
least that law
Yeah,
is on the books?
I see the admin code.
Yeah.
But I wish I could show you
This
what
is,
I
it's on
came
the
with.
legislative website,
Yeah.
budgets.gov. It's the official as it's passed by.
Yeah, I believe I trust you. I 100% believe you. I read it too.
Yeah.
But it also read before I walked in this building that this is a traditional public forum.
Yep.
You are allowed to fundraise as a protected activity under your First Amendment right.
Well, okay, so
Want
now,
me to read it to you? I'll stop the video and then read it to you.
where's your source for that?
The internet.
Okay. I think where we're getting confused is so the Constitution,
Yeah.
gives the definitions through case law of what free
Yeah.
speech is and
Yeah.
what public forums are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is a state admin code that. So what I'm saying is you're both right in this
Yeah.
situation. He's right that is against the rules of this building, and until the court decides, but you may be right that is a protected free speech.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been brought
To you.
through the court yet.
Yeah.
So, but the problem with that is that as it stands right now,
Yeah.
he is correct in telling you that as the
Yeah.
rules are stated now, you can't do that.
Yeah, I'll wait for something official. Well, from you or from him that I can take to court to say, so I can sue for that, right? Because I think you're gonna have to. It's the only way to come back with evidence that you have a right to do this. Through a lawsuit.
Okay. We came to a.
Well, I have to relieve.
All right. So yeah, I'll just wait. 'Cause I wouldn't come here without cause. So I was told multiple times. Well, not told. I've read it before I walked in the building.
Yeah.
You're allowed.
The confusing part is
Yeah.
that there's the code of conduct section of that admin code 2.14. There's paragraphs above that. That one's 2.05 or 04, something like that.
Yeah.
That also, so that entire chapter governs the things you can and can't do, the things you can bring in and can't,
Yeah.
and they're all enforceable by us through a citation.
Thank you. I believe you, and I will need it because I think you what do you call it? You take that citation, you challenge it in court. The judge calls you into the courtroom.
So where we're at then? So
Yeah.
you did solicit somebody for a
Yes.
donation.
Yes.
He called you out for it.
Yes.
So
I solicited someone for a fundraiser.
So what I'm
He's-
saying is,
yeah.
generally, we give those people a warning and we say,
Yeah.
hey, if you cease
Yeah.
that, then you're good. But
Yeah.
are you saying that you'd like to get the $200
No, I don't want to. I think if you say I'm not a.
that you take that to court.
Yeah, I think either way, I think a warning is good enough to go. Wait, but you would have to go to court.
Right. What,
Yeah.
what I'm telling you is the
Yeah.
only way that you're taking
Yeah.
this to court is we issue
You
you a $200 citation.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Let me read. I'm gonna stop this video and then I'm gonna read what I came here with.